a swearing. Raise your right hand.
I think it's awful. The entire landscape of this part of YouTube. Disgusting, gross. People here are failures. They have no purpose. Absolutely nothing except for pseudo-intellectualism, putting big words on small ideas, and trying to pretend like they're important to the circle jerk of people that they have subscribed to them. It's also the people that talk to all day. Do I want to be like these people? Because you can't be around people and not become some of that. This is a part of the world that I've never been around, and a whole lot of other things I've never been around either. Just people who have time for nothing except destruction. It's hilarious. I didn't grow up around those kinds of people, and I somehow found them in this slimy little corner of YouTube. People who sit up in their dark, dusty rooms and try to waste other people's time and drag other people down into negative, fruitless conversations and actions. See, what makes it hilarious is that all these so-called intellectuals can't see past their own nose when it comes to dealing with the problems of society. The only thing that these dregs can do is stay in the shadows. I think I made a misstep and turned the wrong way at some point with these unfulfilled failures in life. God bless America, because absolute old dried up failures can still have a house and friends with like minds.
Cultural Marxism views such a conflict as existing between the oppressed and the oppressors, between those with privilege and those without it.
Welcome back to the Autonomist Lounge. As a follow-up to the Nice Guy episodes, a few points I want to make. 1. You dudes keep going on about how women like the unpredictable bad boy or the muscle-bound sports car riding brute. No, only women or men who have been abused by the so-called alpha male, or women or men with low self-esteem, are attracted to men like that. The thug or the bad boy only has one redeeming quality that most people are attracted to and might mistakenly get confused about in the thug or the bad boy, and that is simply confidence.
Anybody who tell you to be yourself, think highly of yourself, be confident, have high self-esteem, that really doesn't mean anything, man. And I'm going to keep on saying this up here on my YouTube channel over and over and over and over and over again until people get it, until people understand my point of view. Oh, kid, why you repeat the same stuff over and over and over again? Because if you don't like me repeating the same stuff over and over and over again, then don't watch my video.
I'm of the opinion that we as a species are naturally drawn to confident people. It's what we see in those that we uplift as leaders. You could be a complete imbecile, but as long as you are confident and sure of your positions, people will at least respect that. In the context of amour, human relations, it's the same story. So a genuine good woman or man, or the bad boy or bad girl with confidence, will have an easier time drawing people. You nice guys, like the elves of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, become orcs. Elves turned inside out, and you become abusive dicks because you actually get it twisted and think that confidence is to be abusive. Nobody is attracted to that. Nobody in their right fucking mind anyway. 2. Learn to take L's so you get rejected. A lot of your videos are still about the evil woman being evil just because she rejected you. Get over yourselves. She has every right to have a say in who she wants. She has every right to have a preference, just as you have a preference. If her choices are bad, let those bad choices be her bad choices. And if you are supposedly her friend, her real friend, and not just being one in hopes that she'll one day hook up with you, you can give her advice or warn her of the dude who seems to be the exact same guy who left her a snot-mouthed mess on her couch 2 years ago. But talk her through it as to why she makes such decisions. And somewhere along those lines, it should be made clear to you that maybe she just isn't good for you romantically in the first place. 3. Let's be honest. I'd love to see who these women are that you guys are ready to commit gendercide over. Let me guess. She rates high on the manospheric chart of looks, or rather, she's out of your quote-unquote league. And you have to excuse the quotes, because I don't believe in leagues. Yes, while there are plenty of women like this who really don't have shitty attitudes and values in terms of people's appearance or how much money they have, understand that usually those same women don't want to be pursued by anyone who sees them as trophies. So if they get a sense from you that that is what you want from them, whether it's sex or a relationship, you will most likely be sent to the reject bin. All right, that's it for all of that. Now we finally come to the conclusion of Radical Wild Parenting: family and the patriarchal heteronormative ideal. This is actually going to be pretty short because really, I'm not going to bore y'all with listing studies, speculating if people are happy and balanced living in traditional marriages and households. And surprisingly, well, to some of you, I do not believe that traditional households are inherently evil, but I do hold the position based on both lifelong observation, confirmed by anarchist and Marxist theories, that Western families function as units of consumption that feeds the coffers of the ruling class, and they condition children to be passively accepting of hierarchy. And the hierarchy of the traditional family is patterned by a capitalist society. But can a family, whether it is led by a two-parent household or one-parent household, hell, even a multi-parent household, as one would find in polyamorous commitment, function outside of the capitalist form? Not only do I believe so, but I think that has been the case since the late 50s. The biggest myth of the political and countercultural movements of the 60s is that they brought on the disintegration of the family by trying to topple the patriarch as head of the household. But really, the divorce rates rose to 25% by 1950 here in America, and granted, decreased down to 21% by the late 50s. We did see a jump after 1967, though, once the divorce laws changed. But it's plain to see that the decades before the 50s saw a steady rise to 25% and has risen since. And you didn't need the Shulamith Firestones or Abby Hoffmans to make that happen. I have provided a link in the low bar to show the United States divorce rates through history below. On the surface, most people look at my family and would assume we are traditional. I mean, we are a heterosexual couple and prefer to be monogamous. However, if you know us and know our politics, as I've talked about in Autonomist Lounge 4 and 5, we are not traditional in terms of gender roles. Who cooks, who cleans, raises the kids, who does home repairs and mechanical maintenance, etc. In fact, we resist such roles and want to pass on to our daughters the importance of not placing roles on either gender simply because it is unfair to impose such roles on anyone because of their gender. Now granted, when the girls were younger, I did not braid the hair any more than my wife will spackle a hole in the wall or run a drill. That's because I have some motor skill impediment where I just never could get hair braiding right, and my wife is not mechanically inclined unless she is absolutely forced to, and I just happen to be in some alternate dimension and could not be reached at the time. As I touched on earlier in other videos of mine, we don't teach the idea that the two-parent household is inherently functional and strong, and single-parent household is inherently dysfunctional and fucked. Further, we believe in the idea of extended family of friends and community raising children as a better alternative than the nuclear family. I admit I'm the one who had to been influenced by my wife on this idea, and it took me some getting used to since I'm more of a loner with isolationist tendencies. Thanks to the LGBT folks, they've helped us as a society further expand the scope of what a family is and is supposed to be. Again, I'm not going to go into studies on whether LGBT-led families are healthier or better for children because those studies swing wildly either way. Of course, the right wing have done tons of work to try to prove that LGBT-led families are going to produce demon spawn. And one can see objectively if kids might not do well in school or have some behavioral issues if one of the parents happened to have come out and started a new relationship in a short amount of time, as I've read in a few studies. But having been in the business of raising kids in the past 16 years, I owe that level of anxiety or whatever issues they may have to big changes in the home environment, whether they will eventually get settled or not. Kids always will have a problem adjusting to major changes like that, regardless of what's happening. But then I think that is the same kind of anxiety a kid will go through with divorce, death of a parent, death of a grandparent, hell, even moving to a new city or state. I mean, fucking kids are like fucking cats in a way. I mean, my mother once put in a ceiling fan, and her cat didn't come out of her bed for a week. I mean, the fucking dude was pissing and shitting and everything else under her bed for 7 days because she put in a new ceiling fan. It was fucking weird. Anyway, but kids are, in some way, kids are like that. In conclusion, family can be what you want it to be, but I think we already figured that out by now. You heard me mention multi-partner-led households earlier. I know one family that is led by committed polyamorous adults. 2 men, 1 woman, 3 kids, and the oldest kid, who is 17, is the one from a previous marriage outside the current union. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. I'm going to spare us this good night of thinking and drinking by avoiding further discussion of what the other side, the femophobes, the homophobes, and the right-wing reactionaries think, and pretend for once that they don't exist. One of the factors, as I see it, leading to the evolution of human society is the evolution of the family. So I'm going to leave in the low bar an essay by E. Moraltat, and it is titled Women, the State, and the Family, an Anarchist Critique of Family and its Relationship to Capitalism. I really want to hear all of your thoughts on some of the things that I've covered. You can definitely post comments where you express problems with what I've said. I'm cool with that. I want you all to drive home safely from the lounge.